we have been working away off camera here, and most of this area is actually lit up now, and it is so nice flying around here. It is so nice flying around here. I'm so glad we got into the end. And if you look over here, I have started mapping out a little storage system because this oh, well, that was the wrong one to show you. This is just getting, not that any of these are really that full, but it's just getting a bit out of hand. We've got quite a bit of resources gathering up here. And you will probably, I think I've got about 2 slime chunks in here. This just goes forever and ever. It is the gift that keeps on giving, and it is full and full of resources. You can see I've lit up a good portion of it, but there is still so much left untouched. So today, if you notice over here, I've actually gone ahead and gathered up some moss. We've got some spore blossoms and some glowberries and some drip leaf. And this was just one moss block that I put down and bone mealed. But I would like to sort of use this as the base. So I'm going to want to start doing a little bit of terraforming in here and making this look all pretty instead of, you know, sort of how it looks right now. And you'll probably also see that I've got a little makeshift tree farm over here. It's doing okay. I've got a shulker box full of oak logs, just about. We're just about there. And that is for the storage system. So I'm actually using quite a few rockets just flying around like that. You'll also see that I've got unbreaking and mending on my wings because we need that. I have also been exploring the ender tiny bit more. So we've got a few more shulker boxes now, and I've also got some spare elytra there as well. And also all the diamond goodies. We've also got some smithing templates so we can trim our armor, I believe that's what that is for. So these came in an update where I was not playing anymore, and I really do like them. The glowberries I think we will try to use as one of our main light sources in here. It will especially help with the dark ceiling because I want to have it sort of nice and lit up in here, and the ceiling is notoriously hard to get lights onto. But to do that we're going to need a lot more bones, and I mean, I have a few lying around, but what I have found somewhere down here, if I can, you would have just heard that slime somewhere too. There are some slimes around here. I think it's down here somewhere, and you can actually really start to see that this does just keep going and going and going. I think it's, where is it? Where is it? It is definitely not down that way. Here we are. So we have a skeleton spawner, which is going to come in handy for the bone meals there. So, oh, and we've got I've hidden away some goodies in here too. So I think what we're going to do today is, and you can really start to see how big this is as we're flying through here too, and how much I still have to light up. But this, I just can't get over this. This is such a nice spot to have our base, and there's multiple entrances, and there's just so many spaces for us to have farms and things like that. But we need to make this look nice and be hospitable, make it feel like home instead of just a stony nightmare. So today we're going to build that skeleton farm, build our little storage system. These I actually want to be, I think, another 3 high, which is why I needed all the oak logs. I just started mapping it out here, that was all. So that's one project. I think we're going to start with the skeleton farm down there. And all I need really. Let's organize our shulker box for that. Alrighty, now we have that all built. I've textured the walls a little bit with some deep slate and cobbled deep slate and polished deep slate and deep slate tiles and cracked deep slate tiles. I've got the water all in place, and if I just pop that in there, you will see we've got this little tunnel, and that drops them down into here. Yep. So the skeletons should come down here. Now they will instant die at this level. So what I want to do to make it sort of toggleable is grab out, I might just bring this downstairs now actually. So I want to grab out some slabs. I've got a sticky piston. I want to get a hopper going, and we'll just use chest for now as well. I'm just going to pull all this out as well, and a lever. And what I want to do is knock this out. Put a sticky piston, so that will fall there. So I want to put a sticky piston right there, a slab right there, and then we just need to connect that up to some redstone. So I'm going to maybe have my switch right there, which means we'll just knock some of this out for now. And we're just going to keep this simple. We'll just have some redstone coming down here. Maybe I'll just knock that one out, put a repeater there. Put a block there and some more redstone there. And what that should do is if we place our lever down, like so, then that will push the slab out. And then they will be a one-shot kill for skeletons that aren't wearing any armor, at least. Now, of course, I want to come down here, and we will place our chests here, and then a hopper pointing into that, and that will be where the skeletons fall. So that the bones will then be collected up into this chest, and eventually I'll connect that up to a bit of a better storage system, but for now that will do the job just nicely. And there we go, that is our skeleton farm now all done. So that is one less thing that we have to worry about. We've got the opportunity to do experience or just leave it running and AFK here. And of course I can get some wolves and we can AFK here as well. I'm probably going to want to clear out some of this stuff here so that we can sort of access it a little bit easier and have it a little bit more visible than what it is now, because I've gone through all the effort to make it look kind of nice and beautiful, and it's actually kind of sad that you can't really see. You can sort of see some of the work that I put in there, but not really. That feels like a bit of a waste of time now. But that is all good. We have now I guess I've got to try and figure out a way to get all this back up to the top. And I'm running out of rockets. We need to find some more creepers. I've just been relying on the creepers that are spawning in the caves, which hasn't been too fruitful yet, so maybe in a future episode we're going to need to set up a creeper farm. Alright, so now let's get to work on the next project, which believe it or not is actually a kelp farm. So I was thinking about building the storage system today as well, but I've quickly realized that I don't have a lot of coal, and the stuff that we're mining up I kind of need to use for torches. So it is time to get an alternative fuel source going on here, and I've actually already built the kelp farm. So if we head on back here real quick, and just try and block this off here. And we'll work our way to the back of the observers here. And you can see this is actually pretty simple. It's just a bit of redstone coming out the back of an observer, and we've got the stone blocks just sort of on the back of the pistons here. And it just repeats itself all the way up, sort of tiered back, so then the kelp grows on the observers that were below it. So let's get back out here and get started on finishing this thing off. Alright, starting off, I'm just building the smoker, the super smoker, usually called a super smelter, but I'm using smokers to cook the kelp a little bit faster. And this is actually with a little redstone contraption which will lock the hoppers unless there are more than 4 stacks of kelp in the top chest. And that's just to help stop wastage with the kelp blocks that will eventually be formed here. So what I want to do now is actually create some redstone lamps, which will tell me if there are more than 4 stacks, which means the smokers should be running. And if I never see those lamps turn off, then that will mean that there is a problem somewhere, and we will need to get in there and fix it. So whether that's no kelp is flowing through, or there are no kelp blocks, or there's something wrong with the system. So let's go ahead and chuck some lamps up in here somewhere. I kind of want to hide them away a little bit and have them look a little bit natural in the landscape here. So we're just going to bridge across here and probably knock out these 2 blocks here, and that's where we will have our lamps. Right there. Alright, now I need to get this signal from these comparators on the main chest up to that level, so I'm just going to go ahead and start planning out a bit of a torch array here to get the signal right up to that same level. And then once we're up there, we're just going to toggle repeaters into blocks, which will then power those lamps, and we'll just reverse that on the other side right here like so. And we've got that working actually. So if we load up in here some oak planks and things, you will see that the pistons have fired and the redstone's gone away. And we also have these lights lighting up. So once the circuit completes and once there's not that many items in the chest, which means that there's nothing, the hoppers have taken it all. So there's the hoppers full and the smokers full. But then once it's empty, we should see any moment now these lights turn off, and there we go. That is awesome. So if I never see this turn off, that means I've got a problem somewhere, like the kelp has stopped being processed. How cool is that? I think now it's time to get this terraformed and finish off the kelp farm as well. We've got all that filled in now, and we just need to funnel that over to this smelter. So alright, that is all done. We've got the lamps hidden away there. You can slightly see the smokers there, and this does not even look like it would be a kelp farm. I've got some bamboo dotted around the landscape here, as well as some sugarcane as well. And if I don't get stuck behind the bamboo there. And if we head up in over here, I've hidden away the entrance to this just through the grass blocks there. So we've got the coral that I've collected up. I've been collecting up some of this kelp, so it's not quite grown yet. We've got moss blocks, end stone, some light sources and things in here with the sea pickles. and you can barely even see the kelp farm through there. But I have actually maintained access to that as well. So if we go back here, this is the smelter array. So once this gets to 4 stacks, these comparators will trigger, because these are sort of, for some reason, with 2 stacks in this, it's the same fullness as 4 stacks in this, which actually kind of does make sense, to be honest. And then those comparators will trigger. There's an observer under that which will trigger the pistons connected to these redstone blocks, which will push out, currently locking these hoppers, which means the kelp blocks in here aren't being funneled through. So then that will allow kelp blocks to funnel into the smokers as well. And in here I've maintained access to the kelp farm too, so that we can get in here and make any changes that we need to. So that's all looking pretty good, and that just triggered while we were going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the stacks there, and you can see that that does push out the pistons. That should also light up those redstone lamps. Yes. Oh. So that lights up the redstone lamps there, and that means that there is currently fuel passing through into the smokers. Got a zombie on my tail. Get out of here, mate. And when those retract, there is only... Well, I only had 5 kelp blocks anyway. But what will happen now is that kelp is obviously going to keep smelting and keep passing through. And the blocks that are in there currently won't be enough to smelt up all of this. So, well, you've got 4 stacks in here that need to be in here for it to trigger. Also 5 stacks in each hopper. And a stack in there. So that's 10, 12... 16 stacks, so there should be plenty of kelp blocks, or smelted kelp, before we run out of kelp blocks that are getting fed into the furnace. So it should be relatively efficient. I tested it on my creative world and it seemed to be pretty lossless, so we'll just have to see how it holds up in our survival world. But that is all well and good. We're getting awesome fuel now. We don't have to use our coal. We can reserve that for torches for lighting this place up. I also do have in some of these, so this, I think somewhere around here, yeah, I've got a shroom light under some moss carpet there, and that I think is going to be echoed throughout the base. I've also got some, if I head over here, I've also started doing some sort of terraforming work with the moss blocks over here too. And you did see me in the time lapse putting down dirt, because I thought that moss could only convert dirt, but it actually does convert stone as well. So it's actually going to be pretty easy to transform this landscape. All we need to do is use the bones from our bone meal farm that we just created, the skeleton farm, and we can have this transformed into a beautiful base very, very quickly. So I think that's it from me for today. It's been a bit of a weird one. We've had recordings over multiple days, so I hope I've made it easy enough to follow along with the projects. But until then, guys, I'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and we'll see you soon.